Well, as we talked about in the opening segment, apparently Russia's trying to nuke us from outer space. So I wanted to reassure you guys by letting you know how good a hands we're in. That's right. It's time for dementia awareness.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him...
You must be the one, and I'm so...
Well, the special counsel regarding the president's alleged mishandling of classified documents released their report last week. And them in the Justice Department, they teamed up and they had some comments to make. They ultimately decided, here's the surprising part, that they're not going to press charges against President Biden, even though they are pressing charges against President Trump for doing the same thing, because that's what you do in a banana republic, is you press charges on your political opponents for things that you're also doing while you get away spot-free. So Biden is not going to be charged. And the reason he's not going to be charged, honestly, might be more damning to him than if they had actually just pressed charges on him. The reason that his own Department of Justice chose not to charge him is because they said he was what seemed to be a well-meaning old man with memory problems. His memory had, quote, significant limitations, end quote, and they wouldn't be able to convince a jury that someone of his mental capacity, this is his own Department of Justice, mind you, that someone of his mental capacity could have intentionally stolen the documents and meant to do wrong with them. That's right. The Department of Justice that serves under the president, that's actively going after the former president at the direct orders of the current president, is now saying that the current president isn't mentally fit to stand trial. The man with the nukes, the man who's going to protect us from the Russian space nukes, is not mentally fit to stand trial. He didn't remember when this is what they've said in the report. He couldn't remember when his son died. He couldn't even get the year right. He was off by several years. He allegedly couldn't remember when he was vice president. Where does this stop? Where does this stop? Forgot when his term began and ended. So he had no idea. Mind you, he's called himself Vice President Joe Biden in the past. He said he was a senator. He's forgotten his wife's name. All kinds of stuff. But to forget when your son died, I mean, let me see am I missing anything here? I have a ton of notes because this was like a week ago. So we got a ton of stuff here. Excuse me. So we got some videos of it, though. We've got some videos of it. Biden decided that the best thing to do after this report came out, this bombshell report, would be to come out and hold a press conference in the middle of the night while he was sundowning. And it went about as well as you would have expected. Go ahead.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of... Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him.
That's enough.
I don't need...
He forgot the name of the church. Did you catch that? The rosary we got from Our Lady of... Our Lady of what? Now, mind you, he's frequently said that his son died in Iraq. His son died of a brain tumor. Not only does he not remember when his son died, he doesn't remember how his son died, which in any other circumstance would be the saddest thing in the world. But this guy is the president. This guy is the one that wants to send your kids off to war. This guy is the one that wants to choose how much you pay in taxes, what type of stove you can use, what type of car you can drive, how you can defend your family with a firearm. The list goes on and on. So it's not sad. Well, it is sad, but in a different way, I guess. It's sad because this is how far we've fallen, that we've let this dementia-ridden puppet control the country. It gets worse, though. Play these next couple for him.
Thank you, and I'll take some questions.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's totally out.
How bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I let you speak. That's
Do you
my
feel your memory has gotten worse,
No,
Mr. President?
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president.
I don't know if you want to play that
Any
game.
of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President.
My memory's so bad, I let you... You know what that reminded me of? That's like watching a new comedian try to break down a heckler with crowd work, and they just shit down their leg. My memory's so bad, I let you speak. What? And the joke just bombed, too. It fell so flat. What does that mean? Did you catch what that meant? No? Beyond me. I didn't know if you were laughing at what he said or just how incoherent it was.
He just sounded so mad.
I know. Oh, he's pissed. Well, there's more. Go ahead and play the next one here.
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side.
That's right. He just said that Mexico was on the border of Israel. That's your president. He just said that Mexico was on the border of Israel. Confused Egypt and Mexico. What's that look for? Please don't ask me if Mexico borders Israel. Did you have another question? No comment.
Yes, I had another question.
Okay, what's the other question?
First, he said the president of Mexico, Sisi, and then he said Bibi.
Bibi is the president of Israel, the prime minister.
Wait, so
Bibi Netanyahu.
so there's a Bibi and a Sisi?
No, Sisi's the Abdel. I'll look the name up here so I don't get it wrong. Abdel Fattah El Sisi is the president of Egypt. So yeah, there's Bibi on one
What
side.
are the
and Sisi
chances
on
there's
the other.
a Sisi and a Bibi?
Sisi and a Bibi. Yep. Sisi's Pizza. Well, there's more here. This is another one. So, we typically talk about how they have red states and blue states. Red states being states like Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Dakota. Blue states being states like California, New York, Rhode Island. Well, Biden apparently thinks there's a third type. Go ahead. Yeah, that one.
When we pushed all these programs, I said I'm going to be a president for everybody, whether you live in a red state or a green state.
A green state. I love it. What's the next one down there? We're just going to go rapid fire for dementia awareness this week. What's the next one? Oh, yes. Biden would never pass up on an opportunity to pander, though. He's had some issues with the black community because he just didn't deliver on any of the promises he made to him. And he's trying to do some outreach. So he decided, I can't make this shit up. He decided... We're doing this shit again. He decided to go to a black neighborhood and have lunch with a family. And guess what he brought him to eat?
Fried chicken? Did he bring some watermelon?
Play the video.
Well, I mean, you got chicken fingers, you got the whole deal. I went the route of making sure I had the hamburger. So tell me about you guys. What you doing?
These kids do not want to be
Why
there.
don't you share about your passion of sports?
I'm playing AAU basketball right now.
Are you really? Are you guard?
Yes, sir.
Now, what grade are you in?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Right now, I'm just doing basketball, playing guard on the JV team for my school.
How about in school? How y'all doing in school? You should tell the president about the school.
Favorite thing about it is the business academy I'm in. We get to travel, so we've been to NC State, Wake Tech, and
You're kidding me.
we went to this small dry cleaning business, and it's cool. It's a great experience.
I'm impressed. Is that a new program at the school?
Yes, sir, it is. It just started just a couple of years ago.
You know how much this guy loves you. You just feel it, can't you?
Yes, sir.
Your dad jumped in front of a bullet for you. By the way, dads are hard to raise. Once you're a teenager, we're hard to raise. So you gotta be patient with us, you know what I mean?
I see.
A little patient.
Could they have done a more cringy job of pandering? Who greenlights some of this shit? Hey, we're struggling with approval ratings with black voters. I know what we'll do. We'll sit Biden down and we'll have him mumble his way through a conversation about basketball over some fried chicken. Well, let's just have the Kool-Aid man burst in through the wall and call it a fucking party. How about that? Maybe you could have Biden show up with some gold chains and a sideways hat and a grill. How about, let's just do the whole 9 yards here. It's just so cringy. I don't know how, I mean, I'm a white guy, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm offended by that, but I don't know how anyone could sit there, any black people could sit there and not be just offended by how clearly he's trying to pander to you, because it's the soft racism of low expectations. They really think posting videos like that is what's going to win them votes in the black community. It is so, the audacity of that. You should be offended by that.
Also, I don't know if this might sound bad, but like he went to a black family that is obviously living in a nice house.
Yeah.
Instead of, I feel like if he
Well, they couldn't get the
to-
security clearance to go to the hood.
I mean, but I feel like that would have been better.
Oh, I agree.
You
because
know,
those are the
to
people that are
go-
upset with him.
Yeah, to go to a family in that neighborhood.
People
you know?
in poor areas are the ones that he's left behind, because those poor
Yeah.
black people and white people are the ones he's made all these promises to that he hasn't followed through on.
Yeah, rather than going to a black family, and I mean, I don't know what the neighborhood.
It looked like your average middle class neighborhood.
Yeah, it looked just like an average middle class, like nice, you know, rather than
Yeah, exactly.
North Omaha.
Yeah, exactly. Detroit, Atlanta. I mean, there's plenty of places he could have went to.
Yeah.
He's gonna do all the races though. He's coming to the reservation next, and he's gonna bring a bottle of whiskey with him, and he's gonna show up with the chief headdress on. He's like, let's go do a sweat lodge. Come on. And Biden's sitting there. Oh, what's up, chief? Come on over here, Kimosabe. That's what he's going to bring, a bottle of booze to the reservation. That's the next thing Biden's going to do. Bottle of booze to the reservation, and he's going to pull up in like El Paso with a taco truck. I mean, he's just going to offend all the races. All of them. All of them. He's going to pull up to like an Indian neighborhood, maybe a neighborhood with a bunch of Somalian immigrants, and bring nothing so they can feel more at home. Ethiopia, you know. So Biden did, speaking of cringy ads that I don't know who the hell greenlights, here was Biden. He of course declined to do the Super Bowl interview once again, because, you know, the president always does a Super Bowl interview. Biden has declined it every single year because they don't want, especially in an election year, to have his brain melt on national TV in front of 150 million people. So he decided to release this ad YouTube video. I don't know what the hell it is, but go ahead and watch it.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two.
The movie
while watching
theater.
the big game.
Marcus.
You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A
No.
bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're
No
still
way.
charging you just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little, and
Why?
hoping you won't notice.
Why are they doing that?
Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played
Of
for
you.
suckers. I'm
Yeah, we
calling
are.
on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
Yep, it's the company's fault. The companies just started doing this for funsies, and they waited till he took office. What a miracle. What are the odds? Corporate greed never existed until January 6, 2021. It never existed. It's a brand new concept. They just started jacking the price. They're like, hey, Biden's in office. Sabotage. Time to go. Didn't do it to Trump, Obama, Clinton, Bush, Reagan. None of them. They just decided to sabotage, to kneecap Joe. What are the odds? Who greenlit that? One of the chief criticisms. What's that?
Greg Marcus.
Yeah, it did look like Greg Marcus. One of the chief criticisms of your administration has been how poorly the economy's been handled. and you decide to go on and point out everything that's right. It's like if a husband his wife was right about to leave him, right? It's coming down to that final moment, and he's like, okay, honey. Like, this is his last ditch effort to get her to stay. And he's like, remember that time I kissed your sister? You know how every time we go out, I check out other women? You know, he just goes on, and what are you laughing at? What's so funny?
I thought you were going to say his last ditch effort was to lay some rose petals out and lay them up to the kitchen sink with
That's
dirty
basically
dishes.
the equivalent, yes. Laying some rose petals out and bringing them up to the kitchen sink. No, I'm talking about them pointing out all of the things they've done wrong. Hey, honey, you know how I lay around and shower 3 times a week? You know how I got fired from my job 2 months ago? Haven't even bothered to find a new one? Well, you should stay with me. That was the equivalent of what Biden just did there. Now, mind you, he was talking about how companies were keeping the prices the same or jacking them up in the grocery stores while making the product smaller and containing less of the items in it, right? That's what he said on the Super Bowl. Check out this press conference from the day after the Super Bowl and tell me if you can spot the difference.
Growth is strong, wages are rising, inflation is down. In fact, the costs have fallen from a gallon of gas to a gallon of milk. We know prices are still too high because of what I call greedflation and shrinkflation.
So he said that prices were getting lower, but they're also getting higher because of shrinkflation. How? So somebody let me know how. Which one is it, Joe? So when were you lying? Here's the thing. Has inflation gotten lower? Yes, it's not at the 7% rate, but here's how he's gaslighting people. He's gaslighting people because he's saying that these companies are jacking the prices up because he's gotten inflation under control, and he hasn't, the Fed has. But he's saying inflation's somewhat under control now, so these prices should stop raising. Well, no. If inflation's at 3%, it's still going to rise 3%, just not as high as it was when it was at 7, 8, 9, 10% a year ago. So even though, yes, inflation has gone down, 3% inflation is still going to see rising prices. This doesn't take a rocket scientist or a mathematician to figure out. If inflation is positive, prices are going to rise. We saw minimal inflation under Donald Trump, and that was partially because of the Federal Reserve as well. And that's why prices didn't seem to go up too much under Trump, if you'll notice. Under Biden, they've skyrocketed, and part of that's because of COVID and the interest rates, and we can go on a whole diatribe about that later on. We got one more video here. If you saw these videos, these clips, and you're worried about Biden, just know if he can't step down, they asked Kamala, and she said, I'm ready to serve. And here's proof in this video that she's ready to serve.
I'm pointing to the direction of what I believe is the Capitol. And what needs to happen in terms of people who otherwise have evidenced themselves having a feckless quality to show some courage to reject the false notion that suggests you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away, when in fact it's just reasonable. I support the Second Amendment, but it's reasonable to say we need an assault weapons
She
ban.
always sounds wine drunk.
It's reasonable to say we need universal background checks, that we need red flag laws. It's reasonable to say that if you want to deal with violence in the community, you also got to understand it's not only about mass shooting situations, which are horrific, and it's about everyday gun violence.
She always sounds wine drunk. Always. Is she always wine drunk? Or is my theory that she's been on an acid trip since 1996 the right one? Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you can actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.